Hello, friend and colleague. It's Nikki from Full Voice Music. Dr. Jenevora Williams is my in-person guest for our episode 210, and our conversation is about vocal pacing and stamina, practical strategies, and vocal health best practices right here on the Full Voice Podcast. Hello. Welcome and thank you. Thank you for joining me on the Full Voice Podcast. My friend, before I dive into this incredible conversation, I just want to check in. If you are listening to this podcast at time of release, we are about, and many of you have already begun, a busy recital performance season. Now, many of my listeners are teaching artists. So not only are your students starting a busy season, you are starting a busy season. And I want you to know that we see you. This is probably one of the most stressful times, which is why this conversation with Jenevora is so perfect. Now, before I begin, for anyone that is new to the show, the Full Voice Podcast, and all of our work at Full Voice Music is about supporting voice teachers. We are sharing conversations, strategies, trainings, and hopefully inspiration to help you grow in your vocal pedagogy, to strengthen your business, and most importantly, bring more joy and confidence to every single lesson. That is our goal here. And I am absolutely thrilled that Dr. Jenevora Williams is part of our team. So without further delay, my special guest, Dr. Jenevora Williams. Welcome back to the Full Voice Podcast yet again. And also, welcome to Nova Scotia. Jenevora Williams, how are you?
I'm sitting here in your studio with you. It's so exciting.
I am so thrilled that you are here. I don't often get the pleasure of having a face-to-face conversation. And I mean, we talk on Zoom, and that's lovely. But being in the same room and having that closeness, it makes all the difference. And I'm so lucky because I've done this with Shannon Coates and Michelle and Mim. But thank you so much for taking a detour. You were at the ICVT, but before you went home, I convinced you to come to Nova Scotia for a few days.
She abducted me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not mention that on the podcast.
She did. She twisted my arm and said, "You're not going back to London. You're coming to Nova Scotia with me."
We have a really great topic, but I want to just mention to people, we are recording this in August when you're visiting, but we're actually planning this podcast for like October, November, because we're talking about stamina and, everybody going into that season. I'm excited to talk about that, but first I just want to talk about the ICVT. You were a presenter at the International Congress of Voice Teachers. Oh, so fancy. And you were presenting on vocal health for children.
I was. And it's a really important topic.
It is. Now, one of the things I always want to know, did they ask good questions? Did people ask good questions at your presentation?
They did.
Oh, good.
They did. Which is really heartening because I think the message might be getting through.
Oh, yes.
The message might be getting through. I didn't get the questions about children don't know how to speak, they don't know how to sing, they don't know how to do, so therefore their vocal health is getting compromised. It was much more about the environment they're in, and it was to do with the families and the support they're getting and all of those really, really important aspects that contribute to our health. And this is what I'm always saying. I always going on about the biopsychosocial influence and how your technique, your habits, your associated health is all bio.
Right.
And one has to factor in the social and the psychological. So the social is everything that's going on around you. It's your family environment. It's the friends you're with. It's the choir you're in. It's the rehearsal schedule of the choir you're in. It's all of those things all come into that. And then the psychological, which is how confident and happy you are feeling in yourself. And that, of course, has a massive impact on your overall well-being.
I think in my early days of teaching, I did not appreciate how much stress, how many things kids are dealing with, how many pressures they have on them. And I don't think I took that consideration into my instruction sometimes. And I always wish sometimes I could have a do-over and just go back in time and teach a few lessons now that I know what I know. And I think that would be a big part of it, is just realizing that, we're not just working on, singing in tune or singing this song. There's just so much going on.
There is. That whole thing about going back
Right.
and redoing the lessons. Oh, I mean, I think that about lessons I gave last week.
Oh,
You know,
right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes,
stop.
I know.
It really doesn't stop.
Do you have specific, like, I have students that I wish I can think in my mind of a specific student or two that I was like, I really missed the ball with that one. And I would so love to correct myself and to give you a different angle of that. Do you have that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we talk so much about student-centered learning. And I've done courses in coaching and really going deep into myself and working out what kind of questions I can ask myself and what questions I can ask the student. And I know that 10, 20, 30 years ago, I was giving out instructions and I was listening and I had good ears and I was diagnosing very well. And then I was jumping in to fix the problems and tell them what to do. And I thought I was so clever.
Teaching at the highest level.
Yes.
I think that's one of the hard truths of teaching, is that if you are constantly learning and you're humble and the more you learn, the more you just realize that there's so much more there's just so much more out there to take in.
And the balance. Yeah, it's not just accumulating more information, it's keeping the balance. And any balance in life is like a seesaw. It's going to tip. Do you have seesaws?
Yes.
Here in North America? Yeah. It's going to tip one way and then it's going to tip the other way and then it's going to keep going. So you're constantly going a little bit too far one way and a little bit too far the other way. And that balance is about just noticing that movement and going with it and just evening it up. But you never achieve stillness.
Oh, that's so helpful. That's so helpful. I'm so glad you shared that. Now, we are talking about we're talking about a busy season of teaching. Most studios start to really ramp up into the Christmas holiday season. So we're talking about stamina because we have more practices. We're asking our students to practice more. We've got more longer rehearsals, choir rehearsals, auditions, everything. And I think this conversation started maybe at the dinner table when we went out to dinner, and you were just sharing some common sense about stamina. And there's a lot of misconceptions about what stamina is, how we achieve stamina.
Yeah, stamina. What is stamina?
Right?
Because it's not a muscle. We're not training a muscle. You know, if we are talking about physical fitness, your ability to run for a long time is partly due to developing certain strength and coordination in your muscles. It's partly to do with building your heart muscles to be able to pump more blood around your body. So we're talking about aerobic fitness. We're talking about those kind of physical fitness. Now, singing, vocal stamina, isn't, I mean, it's related to physical fitness, but that's not what it is really, because the muscles of the larynx, the muscles of our breathing management system, don't need to increase in strength. All right, to sing well, we are not building strength because those are muscles that are used for other activities and they're already pretty strong.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
If
yeah.
you can get up out of a chair and walk across the room, your abdominal muscles are probably functioning well enough to sustain
Right.
an exhalation. Yeah. And if you're able to swallow or cough, your laryngeal muscles are probably functioning well enough to sustain sound. It's not strength. This is all about coordination. Back to balance. Back to balance. So coordinating all of these systems is a really finely tuned skill. And nearly all of that is implicit learning. It's learning that goes under the radar, that we're not aware of learning. Our bodies accumulate that knowledge and we just know. If I'm going to say a long, long sentence, I know my body knows it's got to take a reasonably big breath beforehand in order to be able to keep going through that. And if I'm doing a shorter sentence, I just have a shorter breath. I haven't had to sit and learn that. Yeah. And the same for singing. We know intuitively how to be louder, how to be quieter, how to be longer, how to be shorter, how to go high, how to go low. We learn those skills. So this is about coordination and optimization so that we are using the minimum effort that we need, which of course sometimes is a lot of effort, but it's minimizing that so we're not overworking. And expectation.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So going back to running again, and I know not everybody is a marathon runner, but nearly everybody has learned what running feels like at some point, being late for something or, or just having fun, playing sport, any of those things. And when you are running distances, yes, you have a certain level of fitness, but the training you do is just incrementally increasing the distances and then challenging the system now and then. So you'll do maybe a shortish run, but you'll do interval training. You'll do fast and then slow and then fast and then slow. And you just challenge your body to do those things. Then you'll do a longer run and pace it and see whether you can run for a slightly longer distance than you did last weekend. And that is managing expectation. Because last weekend you managed to run 5 miles. So now you can probably run 6. Yes, you can. If you suddenly jump to 10, you're going to panic.
Right, of course.
You're going to panic and you're going to think, I can't do it. Oh, I'm exhausted, and you will worry and you may not get through it. So managing the expectations comes from incrementally increasing the workload, challenging the systems to know they can take a bit more and then they can go back a bit, and then they can take a bit more and go back a bit. And having the confidence to know that you can do it.
Right.
Without anything going terribly wrong.
I want to just jump in here because this is very much what we talk about in our practice, progress, and success workshop, where teachers often ask singers to say, sing this 3 times at home, but they've actually never done it in the lesson. And it causes stress because it's like, and it seems like it would be a marathon, to take from your story, and it overwhelms them before they've even tried, because we've never asked them to sing, or we've never made them sing the little exercise, the song 3 times in the studio. And then with children, it's always really helpful to ask them, how did that feel? You sang that through one time. It was only 2 minutes. Do you think you could do it again? And then build that up, because you can't ask them to sing it 3 times if they've only done it once but barely got through and you're still fixing things. To ask them to do something else at home, that just overwhelms them. And then the practice battle has started. So similar.
Yeah. Yeah. You are practicing the performance. And that's so singing it through 3 times is challenging the system. It's taking you beyond where you need to go, because when you perform it, you're only going to sing it through once. But you've sung it through 3 times. 3 times is a magic number. Yeah, 3 times is a magic number, because if you do it 3 times, just repeated, you don't go in and fix things, you don't judge things, you don't make notes and think, right, and the second time I'm going to do this. You just do it 3 times. And your brain will notice there are certain things that, that was slightly out of tune. I slightly ran out of breath on that bit. There'll be all sorts of things that need a little bit of tweaking. And you will automatically do that.
Oh, okay. So I have to bring it back, because I tell teachers, let them do it 3 times without one word of correction, because 9 times out of 10 they'll self-correct. And you won't have to tell them that they made a mistake, and you won't have to stop their progress, and they get to enjoy the song without being told to fix anything. And it's so helpful.
Yeah, they sort it out themselves. And again, out underneath their consciousness, they're not going through the song and making a mental note of everything that needs to go.
Sure.
It's all completely subconscious. All of those adjustments. So that's why 3 is a magic number. Now, if after 3 times through, there are things that need a little bit of help, then you go in and give them a little bit of help. Or you draw their attention to it and ask them how they might help that themselves.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love this new cueing. Where we're not just saying fix that. We're getting them involved, active participation, and asking them what they think they should. I love it's hard, because I want to go to the fix. Like, just do this, try that.
But actually, when you're talking about going back in time, this was how I used to work many years ago. 25, 30 years ago? I was teaching choristers in English cathedrals. And I would go in and work with the whole group. I would do a group warm-up with everybody, and then I would stick around for a bit of the rehearsal and contribute. And then they would each have their individual lessons with me. And that would be Saturday morning. And then the whole of the rest of the week, they were on their own.
Oh, wow.
So they had the choral director, they had the director of music, but they didn't have me. And so I had to teach them to do it for themselves.
Right.
So I was very aware then that I had to ask, okay, this happened. How do you think you might change that? How would you like to go in and adjust that? So I was doing that kind of getting it out of them a long time ago, really out of necessity, because I knew that if I didn't teach them how to do that, then they were sunk.
Oh, that's stressful.
Yeah.
You do a lot of rehabilitation
Yeah.
work. In fact, you've been doing sessions while you're here. A lot of people are coming to you because they have extended past their abilities, or they're experiencing challenges with their voices. When you're working with them, how do you assess? How do you get started with them when you're just like working with somebody new? They've got some issues. They probably come to you with a lot of questions and a lot of worries. How do you bring that all in and get started in a productive lesson?
Well, the worries is the thing. They come, by the time they come for rehabilitation, they've been most people try and fix it themselves. They think, oh, I'll get better. I mean, we do, don't we? You get ill and then you get better. Yep. And you only go and seek help when it's just not getting better on its own. by which point they are frightened, worried. They all think they've done some serious damage. There's a whole load of fear attached to it. And there's generally been quite a lot of anxiety that has been a contributing factor in the first place. Right. So I spend a lot of time, sometimes I spend the whole of that first session just talking and getting the story, working out what has been going on. And everybody's story is different. And a lot of time people haven't really thought about it. So the ideas are coming to them new. You know, you can see them suddenly thinking, oh, right, that might have actually contributed. Or they will then rewind a bit in time. You know, because I will always ask, well, what was happening at that time? You know, when did you first notice a voice problem? What else was happening in your life at the time? And then they start to rewind and think, actually, no, it was before that. And then that was before that. And then, you know, so the other question is, when was the last time your voice felt really good?
Oh.
And this morning I had somebody, a new client, and he said 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, all of that time he's been struggling, trying to work out what's going on, and it's a very complicated whole load of stuff.
Of course.
Yeah. But when I'm dealing with children and doing rehabilitation with children, there are a lot of similarities, but a lot of the time the contributing factors are things they are really not aware of at all.
Interesting.
And that is so often worries or compensations that they're making in order to fit in and be good and do as they're told and shine and be loved and appreciated. All of those things that children really want. They want that reassurance and that validation. And so they will overcome the innate struggles that they might have.
Right.
And they may be struggles with concentration. They may be struggles with reading. They may be struggles with physical coordination. They might be extra flexible. They might be a bit stiff. They might be really, really good at concentrating for a short period of time and really not good at concentrating over a long period of time. All of those things that we can now attribute to various different neurodiversities. But a lot of the time, it's not enough for people to go and be diagnosed with something. Yeah, a lot of the time they're just coping really well, but the coping in itself generates anxiety. So it's not the problem children that are the problem. Quite often it's the ones who look like they are doing really, really well, who are working extra hard behind the scenes.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting, and they are holding on for dear life to get through, and they are less likely to have that stamina.
Oh, right. So understanding this, having a better understanding of this as a teacher, and you're seeing your students come in, and this question comes up a lot in the forum, our Voice Teachers for Young Singers Facebook forum. You know, students are coming to me, they're so tired, they're overwhelmed, they're bursting into tears. That has been a common thread in our forum, and we're seeing, and the world is such a stressful place right now. There's just so much going on.
And they're picking up on all of that from their parents.
Right. I mean, yes, absolutely. They're reading all of that from everyone around them. So you're a voice teacher. You see this person maybe for half hour, 45 minutes, 60 minutes a week. What do we do?
Well, the first thing and the last thing and the most important thing is be kind.
Yes.
Is just be nice to people. And if they want to talk about something, let them talk. You don't need to probe. You don't need to ask questions. You just certainly don't offer advice. But you listen, hold the space, and remember that what you are best at is teaching singing. And if you can help them to sing slightly more easily, then a lot of those other anxieties, worries, tensions, all of those things will just become a little bit less. So it is, I know it's very tempting to be that listening friend and to, if they're coming with problems that you've been there, you could help them out. Listen and be empathetic. And then I tend to say, shall we just do some singing? Shall we do some singing? And then it helps to put it in perspective and give them confidence. And all we're doing is trying to help them to do what they do a little bit more easily. Yeah? They know what a song is going to sound like. They know how they want it to sound. They've got a pretty good idea of what the end product might be. And your job is to help them to get there the easiest route.
You have a saying, and I love it, and I've stolen it, and I use it all the time, and that is make easy easier.
It wasn't mine.
Okay, well,
see, I stole it.
totally created, I totally credited it to you. But I remember the first time I saw you do a presentation, and I think that was your last slide that you finished your presentation with, and I was like, make easy easier, because we want to make everything, we want to share every bit of information we've ever received about singing, and we want to share that with our students, but just keeping the lesson simple and
and we hear a problem and we want to fix the problem.
Oh, so much. Yes.
If someone comes, I got a problem with high notes, I got a problem with this, and it's so tempting to go, right, let's deal with that. And so I now say, okay, I hear that. You've got a problem with the high notes. Let's start with the middle and low. Let's start with what's easy. Let's start with an easy song. Let's start with things that aren't too loud. And that builds confidence and it builds good habits. Things feel more comfortable. I mean, everything is just so much better.
Right.
And of course, you start with the easy, and then the easy grows. And it grows, and it becomes easier throughout the range. It becomes easier in different styles. It becomes easier. And before you know it, that problem, that bit at the top of the voice or on the, wherever it was, isn't a problem.
That's a much more holistic approach to it, right? Because I'm guilty. I've raised my hand. You can't see it on the podcast, but I'm raising my hand. I am so guilty of, we're having a problem with that note. Let's see how many times we can smack that note in this half-hour lesson. And then by the end of the lesson, you're discouraged, they're discouraged.
Yeah.
And now that note is just their nemesis, and you've done more harm than good, but you're just trying to fix the problem.
But drawing attention to something that's difficult is only going to make them feel worse. And if we can build confidence and just encourage this more positive attitude, then everybody's happier. That's all I want, Nikki. I just want everyone to be a bit happier. The world is full of people being nasty to each other all the time. Come on, we can do it.
I agree. When it comes to helping our students get ready for these busy seasons, what are some of your strategies? What do you tell the teachers, or what do you tell your students, as they're ramping up? Maybe the rehearsals are longer, or you've got rehearsal, performance.
Yeah. So we talked about stamina. Let's talk about pacing.
Oh, okay.
So pacing is knowing how much you can do and for how long you can do it, and when you might need a rest and when you might need to just pull back a little bit. Okay. So for a start, in order to be able to pace things, you need to be aware. And so often, if you say to somebody who's maybe singing too loudly, and I say, could you do that a little bit quieter? And they go from 8 out of 10 to 3 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah?
That'd be me. Yes.
Yeah. And people will just pivot wildly
Right.
from one to the other. And so raising awareness of all of those grades in between. So, okay, let's bring it. If you're now, where do you think you are at the moment? You think you're on an 8. Okay, can you bring it down to 6?
I love
What does that feel like? Can you bring, so this can be done with anything. It can be done with effort levels in the body. It can be done with how high you're taking that particular register. All those things, any of the challenges, right? Bring it down a little bit. Now bring it down a little bit more. Now can we go back and do it at 7?
Oh, I love that.
And does 7 feel different from 8? Let's take it up to 9.5. Whoa, that one's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah, we'll save that one for really special occasions. We'll have 2 of those in the whole concert. But we never need to go to 9.5.
That's such a helpful visual, right? Giving those measurements of because you're right, like, sing loudly and sing soft. Like a lot of singers just have two volumes, but there's a wide range in between. I love that.
Yeah, and you can have with really little children, you can have color charts. You can go from green through to yellowy green, through to yellow, through to orange, through to orangey red, through to red, maybe.
I like that.
And then you can point to which one you're on. And anything that works with really young children works brilliantly with any age.
It's true. Yeah, it is very true. Yes.
Some people will prefer the color chart to the numbers.
I was just thinking about that when you were talking about that. I was thinking I can see, and it would be necessary for teachers to have different ways to articulate the ranges, whether it's in the body, whether it's numbers, whether it's colors, and
or a series of emojis.
Oh, that would be perfect.
You could go from something that's fast asleep to something that is raging or super excited,
right?
And have all of the ones in between,
right? And I think that would be a challenge because, you would really have to be mindfully watching the students to see if they were responding to the scale that you gave them, and if they weren't, giving yourself permission to go to colors or go to emojis or go to something different,
or just do something different for a bit.
Yeah. We have a phrase in our household is DSD, do something different. Do something different. So if you're complaining about something, well, did you do something different?
Yeah.
I don't think my husband appreciates that as much as I do, but I appreciate the do something different.
Yeah. If you are hitting a brick wall, if you're just up against it and it's not working, or you're getting really cross, or you're really bored.
Right there. So that, I used to struggle with that. And I think every teacher has had that experience where you've given some instruction or you've given them some cue and you've just flat out asked for something and nothing changes. Nothing changes. And then you just ask again the same way and nothing. And then you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
And the something different might be make a different sound, sing a different song. It could be, can you hang upside down and sing it again?
Sure. Why not?
Lie on the floor and sing it. Can you pretend to be a lion and sing it again? Anything.
Yeah.
Different.
I think I have had in the past, if I think back to some of my vocal classes, I have had, can you sing it standing on one leg? Can you sing it lying down on the floor? I've done that. I have done that. Yeah. 2 interesting results.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So this is pacing, you're right? We've got the numbers. We've got the energy levels that you're putting in, the energy levels that you're feeling you're needing to put in. And bearing in mind that we always want to go for the minimum necessary for the task. So the task might be really demanding, might be really difficult. Most of the time it isn't. And maybe somebody who's getting too tired is putting in more energy they need for an average task. Yeah. So awareness of that. Yeah. And
I was going to interject.
go on.
A burning question. Do you see a lot of students just using just too much energy in general? Like I found that with children a lot. That children seem to need to feel that they have to work harder to sing.
Nearly always.
Yeah.
Nearly always people overwork. Yeah. And nearly all of the work I do with people is encouraging them to do less and finding a way to feel that and trust it. Do less and trust more is something I say more than anything, I think. Do less and trust more. Now, you will get youngsters who just for whatever reason aren't doing enough. They are disenchanted. They don't want to be there. They're
Sure.
embarrassed. They're self-conscious. They don't like the song that they've got, but they don't know how to tell you they don't like it. They aren't sure who they want to be. They don't really know what they want to sound like. Their voice feels very different than it did half a year ago, and they are feeling a bit unsure and uncertain, and they're losing direction. That, especially if you're working with adolescents, that is going to be a significant thing. Yeah. And so then you might need to find more energy for the system, which will come from passion and excitement if you can find and they can find what it is they're passionate about. So this is, again, asking questions. What is it that you like to do? You know, what is your favourite thing? What is your favourite way to spend time? What do you most like looking at? What do you think about? What is your favourite food? What is your favourite colour? What are your favourite clothes? It's not just what's your favourite music. It's all of these. Find something that is a passion. And then you've got a way in.
Right.
And if you have to spend several lessons talking about chocolate ice cream, that's okay. Yeah, it's a reference point. And then when you're really confident, you could branch into a slightly different flavour.
Making that connection with people, validating, right? You're validating people, and we forget how important that is. Especially with everyone, but children need to be validated as well. Adolescents are screaming for validation, and it takes a little bit of time and in the lesson to give them the space to give you some information that you can work with, and have it's so rewarding when you finally find that spark and you connect, or you ask that question where you see them light up and they tell you something, or when you've been working with them for a while, and this is a student of any age, right? They're working for a while and they come to you and they're really excited to share something, right? Those moments are beautiful moments. So I hope that teachers, when they see that, when they realize how those moments of connection are so important.
So pulling in that level, energy levels and excitement levels, and what kind of really switches you on, right? Pulling that in to the idea of doing something different. This is another pacing thing that is a really, really practical thing that you can implement, and that is taking lots and lots of mini breaks.
Oh, nice.
Frequent mini breaks. Because the way this is going right into the biomechanics of vocal fold tissues, okay? Having been really holistic and talking about chocolate ice cream, we're now coming It's segueing neatly into
It's season 10 of the Full Voice podcast.
the biomechanics of vocal fold epithelium. And what happens on the surface of the vocal folds is as they are making sound, they're colliding. And the louder they make sound, the harder they collide. The higher they make sound, the more frequently they collide. So if you're singing and you're singing a lot, your vocal folds are going to be touching a lot of times, millions of times.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of doing that, they're going to get a little bit sore.
Right.
They get a little bit inflamed. And the way I demonstrate this to my students is I get them to clap their hands together lots of times. Clap together lots of times hard and then stop. And then I say, what do you feel on your hands? All right, and that's what your vocal folds are doing. So that getting a little bit sore means they get a little bit inflamed. And when you've got slightly inflamed vocal folds, then it's more of a struggle to make the sound. Okay, so you get into this cycle. Now, the good news is that vocal folds are brilliant at repairing themselves.
Right.
Yeah, they will repair, bodies repair. It's fabulous, amazing. They will regenerate those cells. They mend very, very quickly. If you give them a chance to repair themselves, which is a tiny bit of vocal rest, they'll pick up really quickly. So if you've got 3 minutes of really loud singing, have 30 seconds of not.
Oh, okay.
Or if you've got a 5-minute song, have 1 minute off.
Oh,
okay. So lots of mini breaks. And this is very useful for pacing a rehearsal.
Oh, yeah.
Pacing a singing lesson. You know, if there's been a big effort made, you know, big loud sing, long sing, just pull back and you can do something else. You can do some physical, you know, reaching and dropping and bending over and do some breathing. Go and listen to a recording of the song.
Oh, beautiful.
You can talk about what you think the song might be about. Lots of things you can do that aren't singing that are useful, and using a different bit of the brain and allowing those vocal folds to just sort themselves out a bit.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Yeah. And build this into your planning for your program.
It's so important. Yeah.
So you have a big up and then you have a gentler one. If you're putting together a set for singing pop music, you know, if you've got a band, just if you've had a big belty number, see if the next one can have a bit of an instrumental introduction.
This is bringing back so many memories as a contemporary singer who sang long sets in all sorts of different venues and stuff. That was something that was a needed strategy, right? Because and there became rules about this song can never be put beside this song, right? Because this song won't be very good if I sing it after the song. And I remember all of those premeditative choices about repertoire, and yes, like the guitar solo. Which song has the long guitar solo in it, right? That's so helpful. And I think that's something that we can help our students with. Like we can explain to them, like, these are some considerations you need to take into effect. One of the big challenges that a lot of teachers talk about is, you know, kids that are in these musical theater shows and they seem to have music directors or people that are running it, and the kids never get breaks. They run these rehearsals. They got to get in as much singing and much activity as possible to be productive, but the voices are tired.
Yeah. Well, there are always useful things you can do that don't involve voice. So you can just work through a dance routine without the singing.
Right.
You can take a 2-minute break and nothing is going to go terribly wrong.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're having a break and the kids are having a break, what are they doing with their voices?
Okay, that was good. That's where my brain went.
Yeah.
So there's the music directors that are running, or people who are running rehearsals that are on a tight ship. They're trying to get everything in. But when they do get breaks, so explaining to your students that a break should be a break and this is what you will or will not be doing with your voice. Do you go into great detail when you're working with people about breaks? And
Well, it depends who they are and what
Right.
age they are and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're in a rehearsal and your cast need 5 minutes off, you can either just say go away and do something else for 5 minutes, or you can say you can all get on with something quiet for 5 minutes, and that might be scrolling through their social media, which may or may not be helping their mental health, but at least they're not using their voices.
It's like half a dozen of one, right?
Oh, you can get them all to lie on the floor and do a mindfulness meditation with them. You could just go for a walk around the block and come back. I mean, sometimes just getting outdoors is really helpful. I know this is going to be going out when the weather's a bit colder, but even so, just getting a bit of fresh air and sunlight. Yep, and then get them all back in again. That can make a big difference. I was going to also talk about the vocal health implications of being in that time of year when everybody's getting viral infections.
Yes.
Oh,
and it just seems the common sense of resting your voice when you're ill is lost on so many people.
Well, the important thing is resting your body. Because when it's ill, it needs energy to heal. That's why you need rest. Because you need to spend your energy healing. And so rest can just be something different. Yep, rest can be a different activity, or it can be a gentle activity. It doesn't have to be bed rest. And it doesn't need to be vocal rest.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your voice will work, even if unless you've got laryngitis and you've completely lost it.
Right.
If you've got a snuffly nose and a sore throat, your voice still works.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're going to be on a slightly lower battery.
Right.
Yep, you've got a flaky battery, so you can still use it,
right.
but it's going to need recharging sooner.
That's so helpful.
Yeah. So you need to think, right, I've got a flaky battery. I'm not going to be able to use it for as long, so I need to turn it off for some of the day.
I always struggled with the students that the instruction of, resting your voice seemed to be so different. Like there's just the personalities that are constantly talking, laughing at the top of their lungs. Those extroverts where like talking is at a 9 and how they use their voice, regardless of anything, is always at a 9. And it's, again, I understand now that's how they express themselves. That's how they are in the world. But how do you help them? How do you help them find those breaks when they're just loud humans?
I know. And some people need constant validation from their friends. Yes. When they're on a break, they're talking to the friends, phoning, chatting, talking, downloading.
Again, there's
everything.
One of the benefits of texting now. At least we're resting our voices.
Yeah. Use your thumbs, not your vocal folds. Find an activity that doesn't involve the voice. So a sport, swimming, great. You can't.
There you go. Good luck.
You can't use your voice when you're swimming. You can, running, cycling, any of those things, you're not going to be using your voice. There's more passive things like watching a film or TV or just lying on your bed listening to something, listening to music. Encourage your students to really listen widely and listen, so share playlists with each other.
That's a great idea.
Yeah? What's on your favorite playlist? You haven't got one? Put one together. All right, let's see if you can gather together 20 of your favorite songs, and they don't need to be related at all, Just put your 20 favorite go-to songs on a playlist and then share it with a friend and find out their 20. Why do they like those songs? Think about it. Talk to them about it. This is all a really, really important part of not just finding out about music, but finding out about yourself.
Right.
And your identity and what you like and why you like it and why your likes change. But it is having opinions is really important and validating those opinions. We keep getting quite off track, don't we, Nikki?
That's just because, well, you're such a wealth of information. I ask you millions of questions every day. And then our conversation does go in different places.
We were on viral infections.
Viral infections, yes.
So how to avoid getting ill and what to do when you do get ill.
Okay.
You are more prone to infections when you are vulnerable. So if you are tired, if you are stressed, if you are hungry, if you're any of those things, you are more prone to infections. And it's all linked in with the autoimmune system and whether you've got other systemic issues going on, all of that, it all contributes. A lot of those things you can't do anything about. So again, it's about balance. It's tempting to wrap yourself up or your child or your student, wrap them up in cotton wool and not let them do anything.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that might be helped to a certain extent, but they do need balance. Everybody needs time when they do go out and let the hair down because it's so refreshing and it's so liberating. Yeah, you do need a night out with your mates now and then when you do silly things.
Yeah.
And you talk too loudly and you do,
Right.
all of that.
Yeah.
But you come home and you sleep really, really well and you wake up feeling loved. So it's important for different reasons. All right. It's balance. But you don't need to do that every night of the week.
Yes. There you go.
Okay. So balancing activities and being aware of when you are getting that balance and being aware of when you are eating enough of the right kind of food and what makes you feel great and why you like certain kinds of food and drink and keeping hydrated but not being obsessed about it.
Yes.
Yeah, keeping hydrated with useful things, not too many sugary drinks, fizzy drinks, all of those things. Just, but again, in balance. In balance. So those kind of health things, I worry about people who keep themselves in isolation because they're terrified about getting ill.
Right. Sure.
Because actually getting out there and being silly on occasion is
probably the best thing they could do.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
We've all survived that. I've done a lot of silly things in my life and I'm still here.
Right, exactly. I mean, balance is such a challenge for some people. And how do you approach the conversation about balance with people? Like when you see that someone needs to readjust some things, do you talk to them about it?
I think it all comes into the general mix when you notice that things are going a little bit off balance.
Yeah.
If somebody is that person who's just talking so much and obsessively socializing because they are deeply insecure about things. If somebody is so worried about catching colds that they're not going anywhere and they are isolating themselves and getting obsessive about self-care to the point that if they can't do it, they are then worried sick, literally. When you have all those little sort of routines that you have to go through, and if you miss one of them, then the magic will stop and you'll fall apart. It's just noticing those and acknowledging them, being sensible.
Again, going back to, wanting to go back into the past. It's difficult, in a student-centered environment because you want you want to guide them. You want to give them choices. You want them to make the choices that they feel are the best choices for them. But then you're sitting there and thinking, no, maybe this choice over here. But again, we truly don't know, right? Like that's just, maybe it isn't the right choice for them.
No. And people ultimately live their own lives.
Exactly.
And they will make their own choices. And if you, as the teacher, say, no, I don't think that's the right song for you to sing at the moment, what's going to happen? They go home and sing it when you're not looking.
Yes, exactly. Of course they are.
Or the reverse, they will be terrified of singing it in case they do some real damage to themselves. So either way, it's not the most helpful thing.
I wanted to let my listeners know that we had the opportunity to visit my neighbor's garden today. And Bruce and Russell have been on their property for 30 years. And I said, well, Mim actually said, there's two things you have to do if you go to Nikki's. One, you have to go see the gardens, and two, you have to go kayaking.
Oh, yes.
But you brought up this wonderful analogy about flowers and growing, and it's so beautiful. Would you share that with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm speaking now in August when the sun is shining, the flowers are out, everything is so lush with growth and vibrancy. Now, when you're hearing this, there may be the light levels may have diminished. You may be
6 inches of snow.
Unless you're in Australia or New Zealand, in which case
it is summer for them.
It's going to be coming out lovely. So just bearing that in mind, wherever you are, there'll be something that's growing. There'll be a plant or a tree that's growing. And as gardeners, I'm a gardener, Nikki's a gardener, we're really proud of all the things that we grow in our gardens. And we've done this, and we've done this, and I've got this, and I've got this. And just a little reminder that we don't grow plants. What we do is we plant a seed, or sometimes the seed plants itself, and we provide a nurturing environment. So we provide water, and we clear away weeds from surrounding the plant that may be choking it. We may pick the bugs off that aren't helping it to grow. We provide that nurturing environment, and the plant grows itself. It grows itself. We just watch it. And I think that's a beautiful reminder in a world where humans like to think they're controlling everything.
Yes. Yep.
And we're not actually. Nature will win.
Yep. Always. I love that. I think that's such a lovely reminder that, our job is to partner and to support and to, have conversations about balance and then step away.
Yeah.
With your fingers crossed. I want to thank you so much for all of your work, your workshops, vocal health for children, and voice change in children and adolescents. All of the programs that you've shared with us are just so appreciated by teachers. And of course, your book, Teaching Singing to Children and Young Adults. But you also have some programs that you are offering. And I would love to give you an opportunity to let people know about the vocal health programs.
Well, they're all complementary, really. They all weave in and help each other. So maybe I could encourage people to go to my website.
Absolutely.
Which is www.JenevoraWilliams.com. It's an easy one to find.
I'll put it in the show notes.
As long as you spell my name right.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Find your way to my website, and then for a start, there's a lot of free stuff on there.
You have a wealth of resources there.
Loads of free stuff. There's a whole YouTube channel of my running commentaries, which are little videos I make when I'm out running or sometimes at home. And there are now nearly 60 of those. So there's plenty to work your way through for free. There's a lot of leaflets and publications and things like that. You can sign up for membership and get access to all of that, again for free. So there's that. And links to courses on teaching children. So if you want to come and work with me in person to do a weekend course, you can do that. If you want to get me to come out to your town and deliver a weekend course, I can do that anywhere in the world, or a 1 week course or whatever. Yeah, we can just make it fit you. Right. And vocal health education, which is my other business. And there you will find really useful courses which are delivered by a whole range of experts. So that's not just me. That's an enormous number of experts from all over the world delivering courses in vocal health, how to look after people, how to manage vocal health. And if you're interested, how to get more involved in looking after voices that have been through problems and had challenges. So it's all there. There's lots to look at, loads and loads.
Awesome. Your book, Teaching Singing to Children and Young Adults, of course, is available on our website. It's available on our Australian website. It is available on kobo.com, which is for e-readers. And it is available on books.by, B-Y, again, all the links are in the show notes, for our international teachers that would like an Amazon alternative. And it is available on Amazon, and I hope everyone will check that out. Jenevora, it's been amazing to have you here, and again, amazing to have you in the studio here, recording and sharing your insight. And you'll just have to come back and do it again.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We're sitting here in the forest. I can't believe it. Surrounded by the trees. And it is just absolutely heavenly. Thank you so, so much, Nikki.
You are so welcome. And we have to go back to the lake and get more water for the pond.
And then go kayaking.
We've got a very busy day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. A very special thank you to Jenevora for that wonderful conversation. Be sure to check out Jenevora's book, Teaching Singing to Children and Young Adults. It's available worldwide. Such an important pedagogy textbook for your library. My friends, as always, I am wishing you inspired teaching and happy singing.